Afternoon, everybody. Just going to wait a couple of minutes. We've got about 45 people booked in to this particular webinar. There's 18 of you in the room at the moment. You should all be on mute, I hope, and you should all be able to see myself and, in a minute, James Griffiths. Well, let's give it a go. So essentially, this all came about pretty rapid. Obviously, the tier 4 restrictions enhanced yesterday going across country. I think we're now at 2/3 of the UK are on a lockdown, if I'm right. It's probably going to be spread into a full lockdown. I think we've all got to be realistic with that. Give credit to James on this one. He pretty rapidly jumped out to me yesterday and said, I've been killing it with online training all through lockdown. Let me talk to some other people, tell you what it's all about. So we jumped on it and we've got this organised for today. So I'm going to hand over to James straight away once I can find him on the list, and he's going to kick off with everything that he's doing, the methods he's using, the tools he's using, and hopefully you can pick up some tips and yeah, go for it yourself. So 2 seconds, James is away.
Rock and roll, guys. All right, so thanks for joining us today, and yeah, thank you to Rob. Obviously, all the work he's done with the independent gym owners this year. Really, yeah, as Rob said, yesterday was bad news for a lot of people, and we've learned a lot this year about online training, and I've pretty much become obsessed with it. And so we've gone through lots of different stages because of the different, I guess times of the year where we had different kind of rule sets and things like that. With what technology, what systems, what platforms we were going to kind of use. And so I got 20 minutes, and so I'm going to try and really knock out what we learned this year using the different kind of systems that we played around with. And really it's going to kind of fit into 3 different budgets as well. So we've worked with and looked at a lot of different kind of training and live kind of classes, personal training has been going on out there. And there is some stuff that we can do differently that really wouldn't cost any money to deliver a much more professional service. So we're going to talk about some of that stuff. So literally from no money to a few hundred quid, can really transform the level of production and quality that you can put through down online training. And then we've probably ended up with a setup that's roughly $4,000 basically, and that's what would hopefully deliver what looks like a relatively professional kind of setup. I've been lucky to work with some amazing professionals, ex-video directors of MTV, and guys that produce award-winning music videos. They've taught me how this stuff works, and we've put that into a trainer license that we use for our personal trainers here and some of the guys we work with privately. So I'll try and cover as much as I can. If you want more advice, if you want any access to the resources we have available, which covers literally all of this, then just give me a shout. But I thought I'd start with the hardware basically, and so the web cameras that we've got on laptops. So I can see most of you guys are probably on a phone or a laptop or something like that. They're okay for a Zoom kind of meeting catch up, but one of the things that lets a lot of the web cameras down immediately if I'm trying to do something more energetic is the frame rate. So when we first started looking at options for how we were going to deliver something that felt a little bit sexy and a little bit better produced, when we looked at the camera specs, we created a very simple kind of set of rules about what we wanted our trainers to be using to deliver exercise classes or personal training. So there's 3 things that I think are very important in a camera when you're using it. Okay, so one is the frame rate. So most cameras are going to have a frame per second of 30 seconds or 30 frames per second. And ideally, that's not fast enough. Okay, you want to find a web camera that has a frame rate, an FPS, of 60 frames per second. So that's the first bit of spec for your camera, 60 frames per second. The next spec is really just HD, right? Now some people are going to go nuts and think I'm going to spend as much money as I can and I'm going to get that fancy, whatever, Logitech 4K, web camera, and it is just going to chew your bandwidth. And the quickest way that people get a crap experience from a personal trainer or any online kind of webinar is not having a smooth, kind of delivery of the content when the film is jumping around, the audio comes through badly. So yeah, I think you don't need to go anything above a normal HD camera, so 1080p. And the third bit of spec for your camera, which is almost the most important bit, relates to latency, okay? And so there is a code on these cameras that will say something like H 2.64, okay? That relates to how it compresses the information and puts it online, and it's the lowest kind of compression rate in terms of not taking up loads of bandwidth. So it gets really, really, really technical, but the point is that you don't want to stretch the bandwidth, kind of requirements any more than you need to. So that's why that latency code, the compression code for the cameras is so important. There's lots of options out there with the web cameras. It's hard to almost test drive them. And we've had some that are great, some that are overexposed. They make the room look very bright and very white and things like that. But they're things to consider. And these cameras, will cost about 60 quid. So if you've got a laptop or something like that, and you're going to run your live class with just the built-in web camera, for 60 quid, your clients will get such a better experience. It will pay for itself. It's ridiculous. Okay, so yeah, kind of, I guess option one in terms of a camera is just a simple web camera, USB. You can plug it into your computer, and it's massively going to improve the quality of what people get from you. The second option was actually what we started with, and it kind of came to me, I don't know, by chance really. I bought one of these the week before the first lockdown was announced. But Facebook created a system called a portal, okay? And so this is a portal plus, okay? They do different kinds of portals, but this is hardware that Facebook make themselves. And the cool thing about the Facebook portal, and the reason I wanted to start with them, was because straight away, everything I just talked about with the camera, it's in that system. The microphones are very good. All of our trainers now have a Facebook portal plus at home. So the plus is like the biggest kind of version they make. The cameras, you can have a manual mode. They have a very wide viewing angle, which is very helpful if the trainers are potentially delivering some of these sessions from home and not a lot of space. But they also have an automatic panning and zooming system. So in a big room like this, if I walked over here, the camera would follow me. And you know what it's like sometimes, especially with more dynamic sessions, the trainers go off kind of frame, which is a disaster kind of thing. So they're a very impressive system. They work very well. They're about 240 quid. I don't get a commission on them. I just think they're badass. I very much enjoyed using them. And the experience that our kind of members got straight away was something that helped us get more people joining the gym, even in lockdown, because they're enjoying the online classes so much. The other advantage with the portal right now is they've done an update. Essentially, the limitation initially was we were running our classes through Facebook, which was cool, but the capacity was quite small. You couldn't see more than like 7 people on the screen. So we were doing a cool job, but we were having to run like 90 live classes a week in the height of the lockdowns to kind of, service all of our members. So commercially, we weren't making money. We were just kind of keeping our members and getting more in. What they've done now is they've updated it to basically work with Zoom. Now what that means is we've been able to kind of increase the capacity of those classes. It works so well, seamlessly. And Zoom has obviously been integrated into a lot of our member management systems. So we use Easy Facility at the Wild Training Gym. They've integrated Zoom into the class booking system. So one of our members books a class on our Wild Training app now. Straight away, they get a Zoom link, which they just click on when they want to do the class. So it's completely seamless. It's a great user experience. And it's much slicker than when we were literally just using Facebook Messenger video chats to deliver our classes. The members love that, but the integration with Zoom and our member management system has definitely helped us kind of step up. And the portals deliver a very professional experience from home. So yeah, for 240 quid, all of our trainers have made that money back and some, because they've been delivering amazing classes, well attended, and they've been using them for the personal training as well. And yeah, we've even had a lot of our members buy them because how much better the kind of camera experience is. So yeah, the next kind of, I guess, level up in terms of the cameras would be a portal. And then the third option in terms of budget is what we've got here now, which is essentially a very good quality digital SLR camera that's linked up to our Mac via something called a CAN link. And so what you need is a clean HDMI out. So that's an output from your DSLR camera. And you put it through, rather than an HDMI into your computer, a unit called a CAN link, which is made by a company called Elgato. Now, what that does is it takes my DSLR camera, my HDMI lead out of the camera into this little cam link, like USB kind of dongle. And the HDMI goes in that, and the USB goes into the camera, and all it does is turns your DSLR camera into your web camera and converts it to that H.264 compression code, which takes up as small amount of bandwidth as possible. So that's the best option, you know. And this is a you know, £3,000 kind of Sony AS7 III kind of thing, because they handle low light really well. They're very versatile kind of camera, and yeah, so far we've had a lot of good feedback about the quality of what we're doing. So that's the cameras, okay? And like I said, there'll be bits in between. They're the three that we played around with, and they're the three that we've been happy with in terms of what our members have been experiencing. Other things to consider, number one has to be an Ethernet cable. I keep saying about the biggest thing that messes up people's experience is the internet connection. And if you're relying on Wi-Fi, you know, Wi-Fi 6 is looking better in terms of having multiple devices on the same kind of you know, kind of system. But it's going to be hard to beat the reliability of a cabled connection. So I've literally drilled a hole in the floor of our, you know, upstairs studio to go straight into the back of my router in our office, basically. So you know, we've got a very fast internet connection here. If you Google internet speed test, it will tell you what your internet is running at, okay? And if you are anything under very fast or fast, I think you probably need to consider looking at a better way of connecting your device to the internet, okay? So yeah, like I said, a decent kind of gigabyte Ethernet out from your router, attached straight to your device, is going to give everybody a much better experience. And if a member, you know, gives you any feedback saying that, you know, it's a bit fuzzy, it's a bit this, I can't quite hear you, that's their fault, you know. So you want to almost have that as a safety, and say, look, there's no way that it's our internet signal. I did a speed test this morning, I know my Ethernet cable is on the money. And so then it just kind of prompts them to know that there's something that they should probably look at improving their end. We're you know, we're in an era where everybody needs to have good Wi-Fi at home now, right? So hopefully they're on that as well. So the, you know, the internet signal is another thing that needs to be kind of looked at for all of these devices I've talked about. You can put an Ethernet into the back of the Facebook portal, so all these devices are, you know, going to be able to handle that. The other thing that makes a massive difference is some lights, because, you know, we've watched trainers, you know, deliver all sorts of different levels of kind of live personal training classes. And a lot of time they're let down by the fact that they're in a room that isn't particularly well lit, you know. So there's lots of options, but something like a couple of 460 LED light panels, they're a game changer. You know, I've got one at my kind of, you know, 2 o'clock as a kind of key light. I've got a backlight, which really is just our light in the studio. And then I've got a fill light to the side just to make me not look completely flat, basically. So that's a basic 3-point lighting system. You know, this is the kind of stuff we go through our trainers in terms of our media training, because it makes a big difference. You know what I mean? You look 3D, which is, you know, it makes it exciting. And everybody gets, you know, I guess we get good feedback about the fact that these do normally look better than the live streams that they've experienced in the past. So for a couple £100, you know, to have some decent lights, it makes a big difference. And these are the kind of things that are available on Amazon. You know, like look at there's a brand called Neewer, which is NEEWER. They make some really good quality lights that aren't not professional. You're not going to be able to create a film with them, but they are definitely good enough for what we need to worry about. So again, it's a bit of a rabbit hole, and obviously I've dived into it and probably spent, you know, more money than I need to, but I wanted to be able to deliver the best quality. So you're gonna find stuff that will add to the level that you are delivering without necessarily busting the bank. So they're things to consider. Things that we've seen go wrong all year. The first one has to be the position that trainers put the camera. So the amount of like live, you know, workouts, classes, personal training sessions that we looked at, where the first thing I'm staring at is the trainer's groin, their crotch, because they put their phone or their laptop on the floor. It kills me, you know. It's such an easy thing to get right. So just lift it up, man, put it on a desk, get a good frame, you know. And so, you know, simple thing to think about, but like 90% of what we're watching is my phone's on the floor and I'm jumping around, and half the time I'm off frame. It's yeah, not good enough. And then uniform as well. You know, we've been working with a few different kind of franchise businesses, and you know, I guess businesses that were shut down in terms of their gyms, and they wanted us to help them out with their online offering in like November. And they had trainers doing live sessions that weren't even in uniform. And I was like, it looks like they were watching Netflix on a Sunday evening, you know, they had like baggy gray tracksuits on and like a Lakers hoodie. And you just think, that's not good enough, you know? So simple things like that, making sure we look as professional as we can on camera is everything, you know? And then the other thing that I've been kind of even drilling into my team, and it's such an easy thing to do. I think we've all been guilty of this this year, because none of us know about this stuff. We didn't get taught how to use Zoom and all this kind of media stuff. We excuse ourselves from the technology. You know, you go, I don't really know what I'm doing. This might go wrong. It's a bit tricky for me to do that kind of training, or you know, get across the coaching when I'm online and I'm not face to face. And it's like, never devalue what we're doing online, because it's wicked and it's more beneficial in a lot of ways. It's more versatile. It's easier to get people to improve their kind of engagement, their attendance. Like, we've got members that have categorically said that online has made them fitter to go into the gym because they've done it more. They've had access to more training at more flexible times, where they don't have to try and dive out of the house when they don't have childcare, or you know, whatever, work gets in the way. So online's amazing, and if you do a good enough job, you can coach very effectively. You know, no matter what type of gym you are, like, you know, bodybuilding gym. Bodybuilding doesn't work online. It does. We are doing it. People are enjoying it. So if you embrace it and you go, I'm going to do the best job possible doing this, people will buy it. And that's what's happened for us. We've put a waiting list on our gym now because we had so many people enjoy these live classes. So it's something we've enjoyed. When lockdown finishes, we're going to carry on with it because we're making money out of it. And the team are enjoying it now, you know, and we're doing not just like live classes where I can see you guys, I can coach you, but we're actually doing a lot of live streamed workouts. Now, the cool thing about that is similar to what Rob's doing here, is it sits on our private kind of Facebook group for our members to watch back, even if they missed the stream. So you guys are going to be able to watch this video, you know, after it's finished live. And the nice thing about the live streams is we can do them, you know, just me kind of delivering a kind of workout. But when I'm here with one of my team members, they get that fun banter, that interaction. So we like doing our live streams with a couple of trainers, because again, what the members get as an experience is exceptional. And it's very kind of, I guess, close to the format that we use on our WildX Fitness app as well. So I think there's a lot of options for how we use this time to actually build new revenue streams and to essentially get our brands into our customers, our members' lives more, because while training isn't something my members enjoy when they're in the gym anymore, it's everywhere. It's on their phone, on the app, it's you know, in their living room, it's at their work. We are connected with our members more frequently. They're getting more members, more value even from their membership, which for us has to be a good thing, right? So look, I've rabbited on for too long. So we'll, I guess, open the floor up to any questions, anything you guys want to ask me. I'll do my best to give you a decent answer. And if I can't, I'll try and do some research and help you out that way as well.
Excellent. Thank you, James. If anyone's got any questions, probably easiest if we put them up in the chat feature down the bottom. Give it a couple of minutes. Far away. Everybody's muted, obviously, at the moment, but hopefully a few of you have something to ask, and we'll see what James can answer. No rush. On a related note, whilst we're just waiting for the questions to come through, I've talked a lot about a platform that we're launching via the group in the coming days. It's going to be going live on the 4th of January. You'll see more on a post when I launch it. Part of the platform is events and webinars and seminars and so on. We've got a weekly webinar scheduled from the middle of January through to the middle of March at the moment. That's similar to these sorts of webinars. We're using consultants and brands and so on to deliver the content. First ones, I'm thinking, we all know Guy Griffiths, who's retention consultant. He's got a talk at the end of January. Ryan Charlesworth, who's a consultant in the group, is also doing a talk. We've got Therabody, MyZone, a company called Battle Ready Fuel. So we've got some good brands that are going to be jumping on through the first few months to deliver similar sort of sessions as these. But that will all go live on Monday. So you'll be able to see those for us. There's no questions coming through. So it sounds like we're all done. Oh, here we go, Royce. have you separated session structure into members who have access to kit and those who don't, or is it one session with adaptations for everybody to be able to take part?
Sorry, Rob, I'm reading it, man.
Are you reading it? So basically, are you using one session to deliver whether they have kit or not, or are you breaking it into two?
No, we separate it, you know, and again, we played around with that. We have dumbbell, kettlebell, urban strength bar classes where they would utilize equipment. But what we found is when we were trying to run, say, an equipped group exercise kind of session online, making adaptations for bodyweight sessions as well, it became so, I guess, management heavy that it became less of a workout. So now we have absolute, you know, these are equipped classes. These are non-equipped classes. The bulk of what we do is non-equipped because obviously it's accessible to everybody, but very easy to adapt dumbbell, kettlebell into the same workout. So if you want to do our dumbbell strength workout and you only have a kettlebell, do it. You know, you can use that as a dumbbell, right? Or if you've got a dumbbell and you want to do a kettlebell class, we can swing a dumbbell. So we try and be relatively flexible with it. But no, we totally separate whether it's a bodyweight class or whether you need equipment. We try and make that very, very clear for people. And in terms of what we charge, our membership is £75 a month, and that's not changed. So that's what we charged for people who wanted to come to our gym when it's fully open. That's what we charge if they want to do our classes online and enjoy the live streams and stuff like that.
Did you think about doing a reduced membership for online only?
No.
No.
Just to me, you know, I pay my trainers the same. I'm not going to charge the members less. And actually, we haven't had a single member ask or expect for an online only membership. It's just not been something that we've talked about, they've talked about. It's just not something we've gone down the line. And I think especially as independent gyms, I think the biggest advantage you have over Centre, over Les Mills On Demand is that rapport that you have with your members. So that's when you really find out whether you're a boutique gym or a good independent gym, whatever you want to call it, is whether you have that relationship with your members. So they want to back us, they trusted us, we delivered something really good, they were very happy to pay us for it. And as I said, there's a lot of members that have said to us that they don't want the live classes to go. You know, when the gyms did open up, they literally, the biggest kind of flux of messages we had was, are the live classes going to disappear now? Because I love them, I don't want it to go. So no, they've become an incredibly valuable part of our membership, and I don't think any of our members would value an in-gym class massively over what we do online. The exception to that is the much more niche things that we do, like aerial silks. You know, can't do that at home, so we do our best to help them with their conditioning at home for aerials, but I can't get people hanging off their curtains. So that's the only difference. So yeah, in terms of whether we do the sessions as more interactive or whether it's coached, we literally do both. And so I guess in terms of online, you know, services we give our members, they've got access to an app that basically contains loads of different content. It's all static kind of thing. So they're videos that we create, we upload to an app, really nice user interface. It's the Wild X Fitness app. So if you guys want to have a look at it, that's what it looks like. The other thing that we do is our live classes. So this is kind of like this, where we have kind of members talking to us. So I can see them, they can see me, I can coach them interactively. The other thing that we do is our live streams. And so that's more, I guess, what you would consider a follow along. Like we have the comments strip going live. So similar to this, if I saw something pop up, I'd react to it. But actually, if I was in here with one of my trainers, I'd be coaching the trainer. I wouldn't necessarily be coaching the people at home. And obviously with a decent amount of experience, we know what's going to go wrong. So we can almost assumptively coach a lot of the things that we know are probably going to go wrong at home. So to answer your question, Royce, we can't do all of that, you know. So Ian, members are taking up the online training. I've signed up online only. So yeah, I mean, Ian's asking whether you know, we have a split between members that signed up online only or members that are kind of, you know, just signed up to want to come to the gym. The engagement's very high, so our average attendance for our classes, and obviously we're only delivering classes online right now. We're tier 4, we're not allowed to run classes in the gym. we do about 2.8 sessions per week. So that's our average attendance of our classes across all of our members. So yeah, getting nearly 3 sessions a week out of all of our members is pretty sweet.
Quick one, James. When things get back to normal, you're doing classes in person again. Are you going to film the classes or do the classes as a mixture of in person and online as well? And how would that differ?
Yeah, totally. So we played around with that whenever it was when we were actually allowed to run classes, and we started calling them hybrid classes. So you know, Rob, you could have booked onto a spin class in the gym with our instructor in the gym, and Ian could have booked onto that same spin class at home and done the session. And you know, because at that time we were using our Facebook portals, my trainer would literally just run this outside, plug it in. I had an Ethernet cable for the wired Wi-Fi connection, literally from the office, running all the way to our outside training area. So they still had a decent internet signal. And yeah, we would do it in this room as well. So this is our kind of more movement-based room. So the floor is all like soft matted. So this is where we would run our yoga classes. And we've got a big kind of 60-inch TV on the wall over there. And the yoga instructor would kind of teach from the center of the room, so that you could do an 8 p.m. yoga class from home, but we could still have people come to the gym if that's what they wanted to do. So yeah, the hybrid classes were great for us because the members loved it, but at the same time, our capacity went up. So I could have 12 people in the room, and I could have 16 people on the TV, right? So from a commercial point of view, they were very valuable to us, and the members really enjoyed it.
Awesome. Quick one, sort of more of a legal sort of thing. How do you get around sort of GDPR and that sort of thing? Do you have to get disclaimers from people, or do you build it into your membership agreements?
We build it into our membership agreement. Yeah, so nobody can be a member of the Wild Training Gym without going through all those terms and conditions. We also, through Zoom, and this is where, I guess as a platform, Zoom is definitely more, I guess it's smarter than Facebook. Facebook's very easy to get going. Everybody uses it. It's easy. Zoom has a few nice things, like you can set up to have a disclaimer that people have to kind of click through before they get into every class. So it doesn't matter if you've been a Wild Training member for 5 years, you will still have to see that disclaimer on every single session. And obviously Rob's recording this session, and he would have clicked record at the start of the session. You can actually go through the settings on Zoom and make sure that every single one of your live streams is recorded automatically. You don't have to do anything. And the benefit to that is, one, I can send it to my members. I can again create that archive of great workouts they can reference back to. But I guess from a legal point of view, if somebody said they injured themselves or something was done that might have been construed to be inappropriate, you've got a recording, and that's definitely going to help you from an insurance point of view as well.
Awesome. Diddy's asking a bit earlier on, you may have missed it, what platform are you using to stream or send sessions? I'm assuming that is the Zoom is your platform.
Yes, so there's 3 platforms that you guys would want to look at, okay? And Facebook, it's free, everybody uses it, everybody knows how to use it. And yeah, it's very simple to get going. I guess when lockdown happened, and obviously we saw that huge influx of people moving to Zoom as a platform, Facebook reacted by creating something called Facebook Rooms. So when you guys log into Facebook, you might not have seen it. You've got your bit where you can put a post up. Below that is like a few options like go live, and below that there will be a tab that says create a room. And what that gives you the option to do is bring like 50 people into a chat like this. It's literally Facebook's version of Zoom. So for example, if you went for the web camera option, so you spend 60 quid on a 60 frames per second HD 2.64 compressed web camera, plug that into a laptop, and then you set up a Facebook room, you would be able to train, however many people you would want to online. Now, obviously, we're with Insure for Sport. I'm pretty sure they talk about insurance going up to 30 people if it's a coached class. So somebody asked me earlier about how, whether we do follow along workouts or whether we do coached workouts. We do both. If it's a coached workout, so I can see you, you can see me, we're interacting, we cap it at 16 people. For us, as a team of coaches, we decided that was a manageable amount of people to coach online, and we had a decent kind of sized tile where we could actually see people on our bigger TVs kind of thing. If we're doing a follow-along workout, those rules are slightly different. Obviously, you can stream it to thousands of people. That's not so much of it.
Nice. Two more questions, or three. How do you get around music licensing issues?
We don't use music.
Don't use music. Simple
Yes,
as that.
is you know, in terms of audio quality, just like, you know, Rob's done here, you guys are all on mute, put your strings on at home. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's, you know, that's the easy way around that. You know, it's challenging, and yes, it limits maybe some of the classes you can deliver, but we run spin classes live and they just put their own jams on, you know. So yeah, it's a limitation, but we all know how expensive that is, and it's not going to be commercially viable, really.
Just digging in, how do you promote your classes, the online classes specifically, to new and existing members? Is it word of mouth, or are you doing anything different?
Yeah, I mean, realistically, we've got an amazing marketing manager at the gym, incredible in terms of what she does on social media for us. So that makes a big difference. And obviously, I think everybody's looking for stuff online. And, you know, like we're saying, because people are online, it's easy to, you know, kind of create, I guess, an impression with them. But they're going to be impressed by, like I say, some amazing fitness apps, center. There's some good coaching on YouTube. So you guys are going to do this and expect to get a return from it, and expect your members to engage with it. And, you know, Chris Hemsworth's giving away 6 weeks free access to his beautiful app. You cannot put your laptop on the floor and wear your Netflix and chill baggy gray tracksuits and expect your members to engage with you. So this is where spending a bit of money on some lights, on making sure the things Ethernet, on a decent camera, will make a big difference to who you can engage with, because they've already got the rapport with you. So if you guys can level up the production value and the professional level, it makes a big difference. Facebook's accessible. Zoom works really well. It integrates with a lot of different member management systems we have. The other system that would be worth having a look at is a system called Blue Jeans. So now, interestingly, Les Mills use Blue Jeans as an intercompany communication tool, because it's so versatile in terms of how it can integrate with different hardware, different software. It's a very clever system. Think Zoom, but arguably smarter kind of thing. The slight challenge with Blue Jeans is it's brilliant, but I bet a bunch of you guys haven't necessarily heard of it. So it's been around 2012, it was bought by Verizon. It is not a small company. It's very impressive, and it does have functionality that Zoom doesn't have, which for me is very important with where we're going to be taking our wild online workout services, and especially our corporate services. But they're the three platforms we've used: Facebook, Blue Jeans, Zoom. They're all good. They all have their pros and cons. They're suitable for different budgets as well. You know, before me and Rob started the session, we talked about the subscriptions for Zoom. It's like 12 quid for a pro account. I think they can quite quickly go up to about $5,000. Now, for us, that's going to make loads of sense, because how we're going to sell our online services. But obviously, yeah, it depends what you want to get out of it. What that is going to determine how much money you need to invest in the hardware, and potentially what platform you choose to use as well.
And one last question, in terms of flexibility of your schedule, how are you scheduling your classes to fit in with members now? Is it, obviously at the beginning of lockdown, nobody was really working in a physical facility, everybody was at home. Are you doing more daytime classes, or are you sticking back to your original schedule and just having them available to call on as they need?
Yeah, I mean, I think that was for especially us. It was like everything we knew about managing a gym and managing a class timetable got thrown out the window, because everybody's routine completely changed. So you know, right now we're tier 4. Running a class at 6 a.m. in the morning is not needed. So pretty much our morning classes start at 7 o'clock, and actually they're mostly, you know, 80%, 85% full, which is good enough for us. 9:30 classes that we always run, really popular. We do a few daytime classes. They're good. They're not every day, you know. There's probably not demand for that, and I think the problem was still the daytime classes, even though people are, you know, potentially working from home. It's chaos, right? I mean, whether the kids are at school or not, or you know, whether they get sales call, you know, something like that. So if I do a midday class, it's more likely to be one of our streams. So I go live with one of my trainers. We do a great workout. We coach it between ourselves, but that would then sit on our platform, our members only kind of private Facebook group, for them to watch later on. And so I'm not expecting people to go, I need to have an hour out of my day at 12 o'clock. Crap, I've got, you know, a meeting that's just been thrown into my diary, or a sales call, or whatever. So that's where I think if you're trying to provide, I guess, you know, a class timetable to people that are saying, I need a daytime workout, that would be a smarter way to do it, because you're probably going to get less numbers in those kind of times.
Fantastic. James, I think that's all the questions, unless anybody's got anything else. Yeah, I think we're done, guys. So this has been recorded, I hope. So I'm going to post it in the group if you want to rewatch it. It'll probably be over the weekend for now. James is obviously in the group as well, or you can hunt him out if you've got any direct questions you want to ask him. So yeah, thanks for all jumping on. Happy New Year, I guess. Let's see what 2021 brings, other than Tier 4. One question just dropped in. Thank you very much, James. Wasn't a question.
Always. Hopefully it was helpful. Like Rob said, if there's anything else I can help you guys out with, just give me a shout.
Brilliant. Guys, we'll see you all next year.
Happy New Year.